Hey guys, it's Carly, and today I wanted to share with you a card making process video for a clean and simple, silly and not too spooky Halloween card that uses Nuvo Drops in two ways. To start, I have an A2 panel that I've die cut a heart from. I'm going to use that negative opening. And then I've got an A2 card from 110 pound solar weight. Now I'm using the extra heavyweight cardstock so that none of the mediums I put on top show through. And I'm just using blending brushes to put a little bit of color there. And I'm checking with my heart panel to make sure I've got enough coverage. Now next I've got some Nuvo Drops that I'm going to apply in kind of a different fashion than you might have seen them before. I'm going to put a little bit on top of my ink blending, but I'm putting it right at the edge because the Distress Oxide ink I used is water reactive and the Nuvo Drops are water based. So if I put them right in the middle, it might leave weird splotches that I don't want to see through my heart. So I'm just putting some at the edge. And then I'm going to take a squeegee, and you could use any kind of straight edge that you have, and just spread it out. So this gives a lot of really fun texture, but it's flat. So I've got gloss on one side and glitter on the other. And I can just add more and make sure I have the coverage that I'm looking for. And then once I'm happy with how it looks, I can clean off my squeegee and I can set my card aside to dry. And the smoothed out flat layer of Nuvo Drops really takes just about an hour to dry at my house, and I live in the Pacific Northwest. Might take a little bit longer at yours, who knows? So spreading out the Nuvo Drops to make a background is one way I'm using them, and the second way is a more traditional way. So I'm making some little faux enamel dots with my white on my nonstick craft sheet. Nonstick craft sheet is very important, people. You don't want these to stick because we're going to let them dry. So after I make a bunch of white dots, I'm going to go back in with my black Nuvo Drops and add the little dot to make it an eyeball. Now the key I found for making eyeballs is to make a lot, because some are not going to turn out the way that you want. To put that black right on top of the wet white Nuvo Drops, but not actually in it. You don't want the nozzle to go into the white because that will kind of mix them together and get white in your black and kind of be a mess. And then if you're making eyeballs, do it at the end of your crafting session so you can leave them to dry or set your craft sheet aside to dry. I actually let mine dry overnight usually, and then you see you can just pop them right off the nonstick craft sheet there. You can put them into a container, and then when you're ready to use your eyeballs, you just glue them down with a little bit of craft glue. So now that I've made my eyeballs and my background, I'm ready to finish assembling my card. I've got this cute little stamp set from Essentials by Ellen called Pumpkin to Talk About, and has this funny little "I made this for you." So I want to put that on the front of my heart panel. And now I show this trick all the time, but that's because I generally use it all the time when I'm making a card. So when I have something I'm going to stamp a sentiment on, before I commit, I put it in my MISTI, I put a piece of scrap acetate on top of my cardstock, then I ink up my stamp and stamp down onto that acetate. This gives me a chance to check my spacing, make sure my sentiment is straight how I want it, or in the right place, or all of those good things. And then when I'm happy with the placement, I can wipe off my acetate, ink up my stamp again, and stamp onto my actual panel. Now, if I'm not happy with the placement, this gives me a second chance to clean my stamp, move it around, test it again. So I always show this, but that's because I always do this now. I've ruined too many things to do it without it. Now, while I have the stamp set out, I'm going to go ahead and take that cute little Happy Halloween stamp and stamp it on the inside of my card. So I have a sentiment on the inside too. So now I want to assemble my card. So I've got that heart panel with some foam tape on the back, and I'm going to adhere it to my card, and I'm going to just pull that liner paper off at the top a little bit at a time to make sure everything's lined up, and then I can just do the rest of it real quick. Next, I've laid out my eyeballs where I want them to go. I'm going to use a little jewel picker to pick them up, put a little craft glue down, and then put them back down. And then you can see I've got eyeballs, I've got that great glossy glittery background, I've got Happy Halloween inside. I'm so happy with how these came out that I made a second one. Now, thank you so much for watching. You can find more information in the video description. And if you're not subscribed to the Ellen Hudson YouTube channel, you definitely should, because there are some awesome designers on this channel and I love watching them, and I know you would too. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.